The new India, in the imposing shape of the Durgapur Steel Works, was seen by Her Majesty on her return to India after her memorable fortnight in Pakistan. The workers took time off to give her the truly royal welcome she has been receiving everywhere in the subcontinent. Accompanied by the Minister for Steel and Mines, the Queen was viewing one of the 3 great steel plants which the government is constructing. Industrial India has unlimited prospects. At all levels, from top-grade engineers downwards, British cooperation is eagerly sought. The steelworks cost £105 million to construct. Calcutta provided perhaps the biggest mass welcome of the tour so far. It was estimated that 2/3 of its 3 million population crowded the route from the airport to the Raj Bhavan, the governor's residence. Beside the Queen sat Miss Pathe Master, India's first woman state governor. The Raj Bhavan was the palace of the viceroys before the capital was moved to Delhi in 1912. Outside the gates of the residence, the police had their hands full controlling the thousands pressing near. The National Agriculture Fair, organised by the Indian Farmers Society, was jointly visited by the Queen and Duke. Prince Philip had had an independent engagement when the Queen inspected the steelworks. This was the first fair of its kind. In future, India will hold one every year in each state by rotation. India, with its huge population, always rapidly increasing, can no longer afford primitive agriculture. The Victoria Memorial is a treasured link between India and Britain. Both the Queen and her husband are great-great-grandchildren of Queen Victoria, so for them both, the splendid edifice had a strong family interest. The idea of building it was conceived by Lord Curzon when he was Viceroy. As well as a monument to a great Queen, it was intended as a national gallery and Valhalla for India. The Royal Calcutta Turf Club provided a favourite form of relaxation for the Queen at its spring meeting. Chief race on the card was the Queen Elizabeth II Cup, and several of the jockeys came from England. There was, of course, a distinctly Indian look about the programme. The very beautiful course is known as the Ascot of India. The race is for a cup presented by Her Majesty and is worth 30,000 rupees to the winner. That's about £2,200. It must all have seemed very much like home as the party in the royal box settled down to enjoy the racing. The hot favourite was Risby, ridden by Lester Piggott. Distance 1 3/4 miles. The birds were there first, why should they have to move? Near the post, Power Bear went ahead of Commuter and Risby, and Swinburne was the winner. The horse is owned by Mrs. Billimoria, wife of a Calcutta businessman. Down from the royal box, the Queen came to present the cup, rather as one woman owner to another. It made it almost Ladies' Day. The Queen adores racing. Those perfect hosts, the Indian government, were at pains to provide a first-class meeting for her while she was in Calcutta. One more royal welcome awaited Her Majesty as the Britannia aircraft landed at the airport of Bangalore. The Maharaja of Mysore, the state of which Bangalore is the capital, received the Queen and Duke. As governor, he bade the royal guests welcome with the unaffected warmth and courtesy to be found everywhere in India. The mayor of Bangalore was there on behalf of the city. It fell to the Maharaja to present the bouquet and to the distinguished-looking, splendidly attired mayor to garland the Duke. The visit coincided with the 150th anniversary of the Bible Society of India and Ceylon, whose national headquarters are at Bangalore. Appropriately, the Queen was presented with a Bible translated into Hindi. That is only one of the 125 Indian languages into which the Book of Books has been rendered. Though Bangalore is in southern India, it was having one of the comparatively cool days it enjoys because of its altitude. While not being a hill town, it stands 3,000 feet above sea level. Enough to have made it, in the old days, a favorite holiday place of the British in India. No one who goes to Bangalore neglects to visit the Lal Bagh, perhaps the finest botanical gardens in the entire country. By planting a sapling, Her Majesty commemorated her visit. Lal Bagh is the Kew Gardens of Mysore. At various times, experts from Kew have gone there to give help and advice. Hence the wealth of English flowers grown there. The roses could hardly be bettered. With the Queen's visit, Bangalore timed a horticultural show. Indians love making gifts. How pleasing was the old woman's proffering of a mango. Undoubtedly, the climate of Mysore makes it the fruit grower's paradise. And how obviously proud of their success were those who won prizes. The visit to Lal Bagh afforded the Queen some of her most pleasant memories of Mysore. Bombay, historically the gateway of India, welcomed the Queen and Duke not upon their arrival in the subcontinent, but at a comparatively late stage of the tour. For in this age of air travel, Bombay has lost some of that particular significance. Captain Todd, head of the Master Mariners Company, presented an address bearing on India's importance at sea. To the Duke, the Deputy Master gave a wooden shield. The gateway at which the royal barge was waiting commemorates the landing of George V and Queen Mary 50 years ago. British imperialism was then at its height, and the King described Bombay as a jewel of the crown. Who then could have foreseen that the present monarch would tour the Republic of India? Another sign of the times, Her Majesty was now taking the launch to Trombay to inspect India's atomic energy establishment. The holy city of Banaras, where Buddha preached 2,500 years ago, was a contrast indeed to the nuclear age. Some of the monks here are exiles from Tibet since the Chinese conquest. In contemplation of the eternal, the Buddhist monks allow the centuries to drift by, apparently unheeded. The holy city has perhaps 2,000 temples. The Vihara enshrines the relics of Buddha and is venerated accordingly. The relics were discovered 47 years ago in the Punjab. They were presented to the Mahabodhi Society of India in 1931, and the present temple was built for their safekeeping. At his palace, the Maharaja of Benares was the Queen's host. And even on this royal tour, no days could have been more crowded with sights and wonders than these in the holy city. The Fort Ramnagar, built in 1752, is evidence that even Benares has often had to defend herself. Happily, not the faintest hint of warfare ruffles the fortress today. It is the home of the Maharaja. Here, the Maharaja awaited his royal guest, the personification of the superb hospitality which is so natural and unaffected throughout India. "14 elephants, richly arrayed, were prepared for the procession through the city, staged in the Queen's honor. By this noble form of transport, traditional among the Indian princes, Her Majesty is becoming almost a veteran traveller. The animal chosen to carry the Queen and the Maharaja stands more than 13 feet high and is 45 years old. To get into the howdah nearly calls for a lift. It's just as well to hold on when Mangal Prasad lumbers to his feet. Kusman Kamini carried the Duke. He's an elephant only a little less magnificent than the Queen's. From the fort, the procession began to the Balua Ghat. In the silver howdah, the Maharaja rode with his guest. This was a facet of India, unchanged since the Queen's grandfather came to the country in 1911, and for centuries before that. Benares stands on a splendid curve of the Ganges, the holy river. And safely disembarked from the state elephant, the Queen prepared to go by launch 4 miles along the waterside. As the Ganges flows past the holy city, Benares presents a spectacle of temples, crowded as though shouldering each other for position on the river bank. To bathe in the sacred waters is the ambition of the devout. All who can make the pilgrimage at least once in their lives. Benares is the Mecca of India. It is reported that 500,000 people crowded the banks to see the Queen pass. Her Majesty said later on that she was spellbound by the Benares Ghats thronged with sightseers. Well may she have been. For though the royal tour of India and Pakistan has lavishly provided unforgettable impressions, none can have exceeded the marvels of Benares.